Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unlocking a fundamental economic law that is secretly governing your daily decisions, your shopping habits, and exactly what you end up paying at the register. It's called the law of diminishing marginal utility. Now, I know that sounds incredibly technical, but I promise you, this is a core concept you've intimately experienced, probably even today. We're going to apply some creative thinking to this invisible force, and once you see how it predicts human behavior, you will absolutely never look at a retail sale the same way again. To really wrap our heads around this, let's put ourselves in a very specific situation. Picture this. You are absolutely starving. I mean, you haven't eaten a single thing all day, your stomach is practically yelling at you, and you wander into a shop where they're selling fresh, hot slices of pizza. Just think about how incredibly valuable that very first bite would be to you in this exact moment. You look up at the menu board, and a slice is just $2. $2! Because you are so ravenous, you eagerly hand over your cash, and you decide right on the spot to buy 5 slices to conquer that intense hunger. To your starving brain, this seems like a completely logical, rational decision. But let's look at what actually happens next, because this brilliantly illustrates our core concept. That very first slice? Utter perfection. It brings a massive benefit. But as you keep eating, your appetite starts to fade, right? You're just not as hungry anymore. So you experience a little less enjoyment from that second slice. By slices 3 and 4, you're getting pretty full, and by the time you stare down that 5th slice, look at how the benefit actually drops below 0. You are so stuffed that forcing it down would literally make you feel sick. Okay, to unpack what just happened to your stomach and your wallet, we need to introduce a key word: utility. In economics, utility is basically just the formal term for the happiness, the satisfaction, or the pleasure you get from an economic action. When you bought that first pizza slice to rescue yourself from starvation, that transaction gave you a massive amount of utility. But what about the enjoyment beyond that first slice? Well, that has a specific name too. It's called marginal utility. This is simply the incremental increase in utility you get from consuming just one additional unit. It's how we measure the specific satisfaction you get from slice number 2 or slice number 3, strictly after that first one is already gone. You know, economists, they've got a formula for everything. They calculate this feeling as marginal utility equals the change in total utility divided by the change in the quantity you just consumed. Basically, as you tweak the quantity of pizza you eat, this simple math tracks the real-time change in your overall happiness. Which brings us to the star of the show: the law of diminishing marginal utility. This theory simply states that with every additional unit of a single good you consume, your satisfaction inevitably drops. It's a universal truth. You will always get less thrill from each extra unit of something as you consume more and more of it. Let's step outside the food world for a second to really cement this. Think about a vacuum cleaner. If your house is a complete mess and you don't own one, you might gladly pay $100 for your first vacuum. The utility is huge. But actually, what about a second one? You already have a vacuum that works. You have almost zero need for an identical second one. Thanks to diminishing marginal utility, you'd probably only be willing to part with, say, $20 for it. Keep pushing it, though, and you eventually hit a wall known as negative utility. This is the point where marginal utility crashes so hard it crosses the line, making it entirely unfavorable to get another unit. It's exactly like staring at that 5th slice of pizza when you're already bursting at the seams. It's no longer a benefit, it's an active detriment. Section 1. The impact on pricing. So now that we understand this inevitable decline in consumer satisfaction, let's look at how businesses creatively apply this knowledge. See, retailers know that the very first unit of a product holds the absolute highest utility for you. Since everyone shopping for an item needs at least one, the business can charge a premium for it. They might price a single backpack at $30, knowing your willingness to pay is currently at its absolute peak. But here is where the creative thinking and pricing comes in. To combat your naturally dropping interest, businesses have to structure their deals strategically. If you buy 1 backpack, it's $30, but buy 2, and it's $55, dropping the unit cost to $27.50. Go for 3, and it drops to $25 each. To entice you into buying more after that initial high utility purchase, businesses literally have to drop the unit cost to mathematically match your decreasing marginal utility. They are playing the psychology perfectly. Smart businesses also realize they can't just sell one rigid thing. Let's go back to our pizza shop. They know you won't buy 5 slices if you don't want the last 2. So what's their creative solution? They offer salads. By diversifying the menu, they give you a totally different food that resets your utility, rather than forcing you into negative utility with nothing but pizza. Variety keeps your overall satisfaction and their sales incredibly high. And hey, this concept goes way beyond the cash register. It even dictates how a company builds its workforce. Let's say a business has 2 accountants. They might think, let's hire a third. But wait, if they don't have anyone to process the paperwork those first 2 are generating, a third accountant gives them hugely diminished utility. Following the law, hiring an administrative assistant instead brings a much higher level of utility. Diversification is just as crucial in hiring.
Section 2. Breaking the law. Look, as powerful as this economic rule is, it's not totally foolproof. It assumes you are consuming identical goods very quickly with a rational mind. So it kind of falls apart if the units are different sizes or if you take a long break. Eat those pizza slices 6 hours apart, and boom, your utility resets. It also fails if a consumer is acting irrationally, battling an addiction, or, interestingly, if the items are part of a rare collection. If you want rare coins, finding your 50th coin might actually bring you way more satisfaction than finding your first.
But the biggest, most notable rule breaker here? Money. Money operates in its own psychological universe. Unlike pizza or vacuums or backpacks, the thrill of acquiring wealth just doesn't decrease as you get more of it. The utility of cash stays constantly high, no matter how much you stockpile. Ultimately, though, aside from those few quirks, this law is a remarkably powerful lens for understanding human behavior. It explains exactly how we react to supply. By tapping into our inevitable loss of interest, businesses can balance their inventory, fine-tune production, and craft some truly brilliant marketing strategies. So I want to leave you with this question to chew on today. The very next time you're at the store and you grab one of those buy more, save more bundles, stop and ask yourself, did you genuinely want 3 of those things? Or did that business just expertly calculate your diminishing marginal utility and price it so perfectly that you